Hello, welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Transfer Hub, your home of Aston Villa's transfer news, links, noise, murmurings, incomings, outgoings, you name it. You'll find it here on Up the Villa and Transfer Hub. If you are new around here, make sure you are subscribing. Helps me out. Smash that like button. And most importantly, comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. This is our third episode of the day now, guys. So we had the first one about Ramsey, second one, Bizzo signed, and now we are talking about a bit of a roundup of pretty much everything that's gathered pace today. And today seems to be a lot of noise around Aston Villa. So let's chat, let's talk about it, let's see where we think it leaves us. So yeah, I was a bit, I don't know, I was a bit down earlier. I don't know whether you could gather, but I was just feeling a bit flat from like the Villa window, etc. But I don't know, I feel a bit better now. I don't know whether it's because we signed a number 2 goalkeeper. I don't know whether that perked me up like a little bit, but you know, morale is high in Up the Villa HQ again. No reason for it to be, just general vibe, really. Right, so little bit more news on Ramsey then. So the Athletic are saying it remains to be seen as to whether Villa would sanction a sale for Jacob Ramsey, with Unai Emery a firm advocate of the midfielder's ability. So that's coming from the Athletic. Then the Mail Sport later on went on to break that Everton have joined Forest in sounding out Jacob Ramsey. So there's a cluster of clubs that I think are pretty well matched and are going after pretty much similar sort of signings. I'd put Forest, Everton, West Ham into that little bracket of a midfield pack that are trying to get players like Douglas Luiz. They're all sort of trying to get sort of like the same sort of player. So it's interesting. He'd actually suit Everton, to be fair. I think he'd suit Everton more than Forest. And I actually think Everton maybe ones to watch out for next season. So that's the Ramsey chat. I've spoke about him a lot today. And then we've had from the same outlet, Aston Villa among the clubs monitoring developments with Manchester United's Alejandro Garnacho, a player that we are linked with and have been linked with the whole window. Marmite player. You either love him or you hate him. You either want him or you don't. There's no in between. For me, personally, I am in that I would like him at Aston Villa. And I'm about to tell you why I would. And I'm not going to go through stats on screen. We've done that about him before. So what I've decided to do is do my own little breakdown of Garnacho and what I like, why I would like him, and some of the main sort of elements to why I like him. So he's 21 to start with, right-footed. Market value is at 42 million and he's on 50 grand a week. Now, how I read this one is that I think he would be a Ramsey replacement because he plays on the left, but he's not that similar to Ramsey. So what it would mean and why I particularly like this is I think it would allow us to play with more width on that left-hand side. Ramsey plays on that left-hand side more of like an inside forward / number 8. That would be my makeup of his position. Does a lot of defensive work, attacks, but doesn't necessarily offer all the width on Villa's left-hand side. He's not Villa's main outlet on the left. Whereas I actually feel like if we signed Garnacho, a left-sided winger, he would be our outlet on the left, and that's why I like it. I think this Villa side is crying out for pace. Since Diaby left, we've lacked pace. I think we've got pace with Watkins. We did have pace with Bailey and a dribbler and a bit of penetration on that right-hand side. And why I wanted Diaby to start with is because we needed more raw pace, and we lack that, and we still lack it. I think Rodgers is quick, but he's more of a dribbler. He carries the ball. Matson's quick, but again, I feel like we need raw speed, and I think with raw speed and with a winger, you already get an unpredictability about you. And then you have the option of, do I go inside or outside? And I just feel like counter-attacking on transition, that bit more zip, I think would be really important. So I think probably what I'm trying to say is that I like Garnacho, but if it's not him, somebody similar, I think I'd be really comfortable with that type of profile of player. So again, I've kind of written down why Garnacho, and I wrote pace, acceleration, direct, purpose. And this is a big one for me. And I think it can get sort of like, what's the word? Misconstrued. Is that the word I'm looking for? And I think sometimes it gets, I've said this a few times, and a few people have said they don't like that element, but I've written down arrogance, swagger, cold, and big game nature. Now, why I've wrote those 4 things down is because I think there's a sort of like a misconception about what I think this team needs. We've had last season, when we look at like the big game mentality, why do we not step up on the big moment when's needed, when there is something riding on the game? I think we can all agree factually that when it really, really matters, we've got a little bit of a flaky nature to us. And in the past, I would go, we need more winners, right? So we need more winners. But I look across the team and I go, World Cup winning goalkeeper, Yuri Tielemans has won the FA Cup, big game, stepped up, scored. Marcus Rashford has won trophies at Manchester United. Asensio had won the Champions League numerous times. So there lies players that have won stuff, and even say Watkins scoring that goal for England, big moment, big occasion, stepped up, delivered. But we still lack something. And I think a player that can turn up and not let the occasion get to them, that it's just like, well, it's just another game for me. I'm just going out there, I'm just playing. Bit of arrogance. I'm not saying off the pitch, big problem. I back myself. I'm the man. Give me the ball and I'll do it. Eze, for example, against Villa semi-final, you always knew he could just step up and deliver. Cole Palmer looks like he's not even, doesn't look like the occasion is anything. Looks like a training game, and he's just strolling, nonchalant, gets the ball, picks it up, cool, doesn't smack it, doesn't get flustered, just hits it, bottom corner, nestles in, does it again. I think we really need somebody who has got that about them. And I think Rodgers can get there. I think he could be that player. But I still don't think he is that player for us yet. I hope this really comes across and makes sense, because to me, it really makes sense of that type of player that we need. And I think Garnacho has that mould, and I think that is also why I quite like him. So I've had a look at Garnacho's top numbers. And I think this in turn also tells its own story. What is he good at? And everything that he's good at is positive. So non-penalty XG, and this is against attackers and wingers in the top 5 leagues. Non-penalty XG is in the top 15%. Shots is in the top 4%. So getting his shots off is in the top 4% of players across the top 5 leagues in Europe. Shots on target, top 15%. Touches in attacking penalty area, top 5%. Progressive passes received, top 7%. Tackles in the attacking third, so this is high up the pitch, pressing, is in the top 23%. So again, that energy, press, resist, really presses well, top 23%. Progressive carries, top 5%. And carries into the penalty area, top 7%. So end product, purpose, drive is at the highest level there. He's in the top 10% for pretty much every single one, apart from non-penalty XG and attacking tackles in the final third. So just in case some of you want me to compare him to Ramsey, I can, but I think they're both different players, so I don't really think it's fair to compare them both. But I do think if he is going to replace him, or the attacker does, then let's have a look then. So I've got some stats here of what Ramsey's better at. So we'll go with that first, and then we'll compare him to what Garnacho's were. So successful take-ons, Ramsey's in the top 1%. Times tackled during a take-on, Ramsey's in the top 4%. Tackled during take-on percentage, Ramsey's in the top 1%. Touches in the defensive third, Ramsey's in the top 8%. Shots blocked, Ramsey's in the top 8%. And pass completion, Ramsey's in the top 2% for players in the attacking and midfielders, top 5 leagues, etc. Garnacho was in the top 70% for successful take-ons. Times tackled during take-on is at 71%. Tackled during take-on is 89%. Touches in the defensive third, 56%. Shots blocked, 86%. And pass completion, 57%. So all of Ramsey's better work is doing defensive work and doing his take-ons, so beating a player. Now, Ramsey's stats compared to Garnacho in the attacking options. So Ramsey's in the top 87% for non-penalty XG, whereas Garnacho was top 15%. Shots, Ramsey's in the top 96%, whereas Garnacho was in the top 4%. Shots on target, we have got Ramsey top 76%, whereas Garnacho was top 15. Touches in attacking penalty area, Ramsey 50%, whereas Garnacho's at 5. Progressive passes received, top 71% for Ramsey, top 7 for Garnacho. Tackles in the attacking third, 49% for Ramsey, 23% for Garnacho. Progressive carries, top 46% for Ramsey, and Garnacho's top 5%. Carries into the penalty area, top 50% for Ramsey, and Garnacho was in the top 7%. So there's a contrasting player, but obviously, like I mentioned before, I mentioned Ramsey compared to Garnacho. They're both different players, so they'll have elements of what one's good at and what the other one's good at. But kind of what I've been highlighting at the start when I was saying that Garnacho is more direct, attacking, pacey, more purpose. Those attacking elements to Garnacho are far greater. So to me, having more width and pace out wide in a winger, I think I prefer it. So those are all of the options. So we have also got some other news then. So we have got from the Mail as well, and we'll get into this one. This one's just popped up. If Liverpool cannot sign Isak, they have looked at Ollie Watkins, and John Victor appears to Aston Villa in case Martinez departs. I've no idea who John Victor is. And then finally, we are hearing news from Argentina that Manchester United are talking to Emi Martinez, but who knows? Who knows what's going there? No big dog has mentioned that we're talking Fabrizio or we are talking Ornstein. So, I mean, that was wild yesterday, wasn't it? When we heard Newcastle were after Ekatike and wanted to keep Isak. Today, we're hearing that Liverpool are after Isak, and if they can't get Isak, then they'll go after Ekatike, who Newcastle want. I mean, Liverpool are moving mad. They are absolutely moving mad. So it's going to be interesting. I feel like the window is hotting up a little bit. There's just a lot of stuff going on. So hopefully you've enjoyed my thoughts, and let me know your thoughts on how you're feeling. It does feel like it's hotting up, doesn't it? It feels like stuff's brewing now. So yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. I've tried to keep you updated with everything that's happened today. So cheers everyone for watching. Up the Villa.